This is big breaking emergency news. A military catch of weapons has been seized at the U.S. southern border, and we are now getting reports and warnings that Trump is now grounding his Trump Force One. He is going to be using other flights and other planes potentially to protect himself and conceal his whereabouts and his identity while he is flying in the air, because we're getting reports as well that there was potentially surface to air missiles that have entered the country at the U.S. southern border. That's what multiple sources are confirming right now. And U.S. Border Patrol has admitted that they've seized a massive catch of U.S. military grade weapons. So let's get into all the details here. Really quick, guys, please just hit that like and hit that subscribe. I'm posting multiple videos a day, keeping you guys updated on this big urgent news, and it just helps to get these warnings out. I appreciate that. So this is a major story, guys. We are getting reports that potentially up to 9 surface-to-air missiles have entered the country through the U.S. southern border, and these missiles could potentially be used to target Trump's plane. All right. And we're also getting reports that the Trump team is now coordinating plans to fly on different planes, all right, to not always be on Trump Force One, and to fly charter planes and private planes to avoid being detected where he's at. All right, this is getting serious here. And it's also being reported here that the U.S. Border Patrol, they just seized 4 rocket-propelled grenades, RPGs, and 8 improvised explosive devices as well at the U.S. southern border at the Tucson sector. All right, this was just reported, and it's also being reported in a New Mexico border port of entry. Potentially 9 surface-to-air missiles have been smuggled into the United States, and they're worried that these assassination teams are going to use these missiles to fire at Trump's plane. All right, that is what sources are reporting. That is what people are worried about and talking about right now. And this is a live situation. All right, we had responses from multiple different congressmen and congresswomen. All right, this is Rep. Debbie Lesko out of Arizona, where one of these seizures happened. All right, and this was her response. She said, "I talk to Border Patrol agents all the time, and they're so busy processing people, getting them into the country, they have very few Border Patrol officers that are actually on the border and guarding the border." All right, that is what she's warning of. She also said, quote, "So who knows who or what is coming across with these cartels, RPGs, IEDs. This is really a national security threat, and I've been saying that for years now. And the Biden-Harris administration doesn't seem to care." Right? That's what Rep. Lesko out of Arizona said. And she said that this is, quote, "terrifying that this is happening." All right, so this is a major national security breach for our country, okay? And we are getting warnings that potentially Trump could be targeted. We have more statements from other Congress members. We will get to that in a second, but I want you to listen to the statement from the Trump campaign as well, too. He put out this statement, and the campaign put out this statement on September 24th, saying that they were briefed by the Director of National Intelligence regarding real and specific threats allegedly from Iran to assassinate Trump in an effort to destabilize and sow chaos in the United States. And it's also being reported that there are 3 to 5 different assassination squads and teams that are inside the United States right now, targeting Trump and targeting politicians inside the U.S. Right? That's what's being reported as well. And get this, just to give this another layer of how this could happen. People wonder how this could happen. First of all, the Border Patrol are overwhelmed, like this rep was saying, and they are not even protecting the border. They're just processing people all day because there's so many people showing up claiming asylum to get into the country. And this just happened as well too. All right, 2 border agents in the San Diego sector were just arrested in the past month or two for helping the cartel smuggle people and smuggle illegal goods across the border. Okay, certain cars and certain people were flagged by these members to let them go. They wouldn't check them, and they would let them smuggle in whatever they want into the country. All right, these 2 border agents were Jesse Clark Garcia and Diego Bonillo, and they were arrested by the feds and being charged with this allegedly for doing this. All right, so these things can happen. There are breaches, and there are people that are letting this happen too. So potentially these criminal organizations, these transnational gangs and organizations that operate openly on our southern border, they could be smuggling weapons into the country. They could have massive weapons caches all over the United States, okay? And it's also reported that when they seized these RPGs and these 8 improvised explosive devices, they also found a massive ammo depot and a scout site that was around 700 feet from the border wall in Tucson. Right, so they're also stashing ammo and have a scout site so they can watch the border patrol and see what they're doing 700 feet away. Right, so they're making these little stash houses, these little weapons houses all over the border, and they're using them to smuggle weapons into the U.S. as well. They're placing them in these stash houses, and then they're also moving them. Right, they're keeping a lookout when nobody's around. They're moving weapons across and into the United States potentially as well. And reports, multiple sources are saying that there is potentially 9 surface-to-air missiles that have been smuggled into the U.S. inside New Mexico. All right, let's hope that nothing happens. But this is a serious situation, and the Trump campaign is warning as well too that they're getting reports from the DNI that they are being targeted. This is also what Homeland Security panel member Rep. Carlos Gimenez from Florida, he also said, quote, "The Biden-Harris administration has turned a blind eye to the dangerous, violent international cartels that have been given a pass by the Mexican government of Lopez and Obrador to operate along the southern border." Right, they're giving them free reign to do whatever they want there. Mexico is not stopping this. There was a Title 42 in place, a remain in Mexico policy, where people would have to remain in Mexico to process their asylum claims. But that was removed a couple years ago, and since that happened, we've seen a massive influx of people coming in claiming asylum, and then they get to stay in the U.S. while their claims are being processed, and there's backlogs of years right now for these claims because there's so many people and there's only so many immigration judges. So that's what's happening with Mexico, and they're not shutting down these criminal organizations as well. He also went on to say that he, quote, "supports the use of military force to strategically target these organizations and these crime rings along the U.S.-Mexico border." So he's saying that he supports the U.S. military going to the southern border and fighting these cartels. He said, quote, if the Mexican government will not address this crisis, the U.S. must defend American citizens." Right? That is something that has gotten more and more talk. More and more people are bringing up this idea that we should send the U.S. military into Mexico. People have brought up the ideas of using U.S. military drones to strike these criminal organizations inside of Mexico as well too. So this situation is heating up, and this is a major issue. We have this hostile group and organization that's operating right on our border, and they are now smuggling weapons into the United States. All right, Border Patrol even admitted they found this massive weapon stash in the Tucson, Arizona sector. So let me know what you guys think down below. Please just hit it up for me down there. It helps to get these warnings out, guys. I appreciate that. People need to know what's going on in our country, and this stuff is, they're barely even talking about this. Okay, I had to scrape to find these stories and these articles here verifying this information. I had to scrape for it. They're barely talking about this stuff, right? All these topics that we talk about on here, they're not breaking the mainstream narrative. They should be, but they're being suppressed, right? They're not talking about this stuff. This is a major national security crisis in our country, and everyone needs to know about this, right? And the Trump campaign is responding by mixing it up. Okay, they're going to be sending Trump and Vance on different planes, different flights. Okay, be a little more secretive with Trump's movements. Okay, because remember that one guy was sitting at the golf course for 12 hours waiting for Trump for a unplanned golf visit. So what's going on? This feels like a really big next step. Okay, it's one thing what we've seen before. This feels like a lot more organized. This doesn't feel like some lone person. Maybe they're connected to other people, things like that. This feels like a criminal organization planning this and coordinating this, doing all these things to potentially take out a U.S. presidential candidate, right? It feels next level. It feels like our country is under attack by these criminal groups and criminal organizations. So let me know what you guys think. I hope you guys are staying safe and staying prepared out there. We haven't lost power yet in the hurricane. It's supposed to really smack us tonight, throughout the night, but we're stocked up. We have our gas tanks filled. All of our red tanks, our car tanks, our water tanks are all filled up, ready to go. We got preps, we got canned goods, we got stuff to go. So we're ready if anything happens, but just an update, we're good right now. No power outages or anything. Let me know how you guys are doing down below too. The storm is really about to hit, probably right when I post this video, right? It's starting to rain out, but it really hasn't gotten to us yet. So stay safe out there, guys. I hope you have big blessings for your life and your family, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.